It's Norm's birthday week, and we have a Norm Nathan show from December 18th, 1993 to unwrap. Grab some cake, ice cream, a coffee, sit back, and take a few moments away from the holiday madness. Speaking of coffee, that's one of the ways you can support the channel. Check out the link below for Buy Me a Coffee. You see what I did there? Also, Patreon and Castos are additional ways to assist in keeping the Silliness running full steam ahead. This episode has a bit of everything, and it's titled Roasting Radio Nuts. Adam Wolf was producing. There's Jack Harte traffic reports throughout, one which also kicks off this show. Then it's on to a guest, the Gadget and Gizmo guy and Mad Magazine writer Dick DeBartolo. Norm is very happy to be talking to him, and it's a great interview. There are news updates, both national and local, lottery numbers, sports scores, and Accuweather. Norm reads a story about Donald Trump and Marla Maples getting married. There's also lots of talk about the most boring people of the year from a list compiled by, yes, you guessed it, that bastion of education, the Boring Institute. Norm teases the guests coming up for the week he's filling in for Bob Raleigh, including Jesse Scheidlauer, who will talk about the Random House Dictionary, Autumn Stevens, author of Untamed Tongues, Mark Victor Hansen, author of Chicken Soup for the Soul. That's how far back that goes. Joey Green, author of a book about the TV show Get Smart. Frankie Lane was going to be on that week. And storyteller Jay O'Callahan. Callers? We've got callers. Andrew in Norwell, Daniel from Stoneham, Somerville. Dawn. Marty, the newspaper guy from Rockland. Bob with an ode to Charlestown. Hank. Ruth Clennett. Marilyn from Kingwood, West Virginia, with an ode to West by God, Virginia. Keeping things interesting, there's two callers with no name or location. Danny talking about drum and bugle corps. A brief snippet from Golda. I appear out of nowhere and join Norm in the studio. Bill in Delaware. And then Bob Weiss from the Air Travel Journal talking about a drawing that's going to be taking place in Las Vegas for which U.S. stadiums will host World Cup matches. Lastly are the wonderful commercials. Marazine with Arlene Krieg of Coquille, Oregon. Gold Bond with the itchy James Rife of Riverdale, Illinois. Baby Gold Bond medicated powder with Teresa Ng, I believe, from Edmonds, Washington. Ed Donahue voicing a children's hospital promo, which unfortunately is cut short. Mrs. Nelson's Candy House. And Norm with the National Credit Group read, in Italian and French? Episode 214, Roasting Radio Nuts, celebrates its way to your ears. Now.
Northbound in the once you get up by Route 495, they'll be there throughout the overnight. Only one lane getting by. Some pretty good delays. Downtown we're in pretty good shape. Northbound and southbound on the expressway, light to moderate volume. Before long, we will see some sort of activity at the Sumner and Callahan tunnels. We'll keep you abreast of that situation. Otherwise, you're in pretty good shape. I'm Jack Harte.
Shucks. The only other place I'd rather be would be maybe in the arms of Sophia Loren, but other than that, this is okay, too. Anyway, 6 minutes after midnight. And we're going to talk with one of my favorite writers in just a minute. I'll tell you about him in just a little bit. Adam Wolf is our producer. I said I'm Norm Nathan. Well, you didn't really care about that anyway. And here we are. Let me just mention a couple of things. First of all, in the NBA, the Utah Jazz beat the Boston Celtics 97-96. And in the lottery, Massachusetts Daily Lottery number was 1889, and the Mass Millions was 19, 30, 31, 41, 43, and 45, with a bonus number of 42. Nobody won. Nobody won the whole thing. And so the next jackpot is expected to be about $20 million. That thing is really moving.
How about all that cutting-edge technology that was discussed? Whew, those were heady times. This was another example of overnight radio that simply was for everyone.
Gadget and Gizmo
No
guy
serious
from
talk,
CNBC
just talk.
live with
We need
Regis
this
and
back
Kathy
more than
Lee.
ever. Don't you
And
agree?
that whole bunch
If
of
not,
whole bunch of
we can
people.
get out of here.
But I've known you
Before we go,
I've sort of
on the
known
count
you
of
through
three,
print for years.
let's wish
from Mad
Norm a
Magazine.
happy
Your
birthday.
byline is
One,
so familiar to me, and your
two,
stuff is just great.
three.
Oh, well, thanks.
Happy
Yeah, I've
birthday,
been hanging out at
Norm.
Mad since high
Wow,
school.
that was loud,
So
everybody.
I've
Nice
been there
Closing the
30
vault and leaving
years.
this world a little
You said
sillier
you've
than
been
we
hanging
found
out
it.
since high
For
school. You just said
various
that.
state
So
lotteries.
you could say 30 years, and I
Zowie,
would still think
Dick
you were a young
DeBartolo,
person.
Mad
Well,
Magazine,
I mean, I was
Gadgets
only
and
in high school for
Gizmos,
23
Dull
years.
Satire, Al
I was very
Feldstein,
smart. I got out of high school when I was 15
Light
and a half,
Sign,
so.
the
But
world's
don't add those
smallest
together,
moving
because I like to
billboard,
talk about ages.
personal digital assistants,
You're still with
Royal
Mad,
Electronics,
Yeah, I'm still in
Atari,
every issue
Price
for
Shop,
about the past
VCR
15 years.
Plus,
I either write the movie
Gemstar,
takeoff
Casio,
or the TV
buying
takeoff.
decent batteries,
You know, I've
the
stolen
Netlight,
more things
the
from
5
Mad.
and 10,
Come
warranty
close, I want
cards,
everybody to hear this. One of the
simple
things I don't
325
remember whether this was
diamond
your line or
tiaras,
not
a
because
Marazine,
it was in Mad
triple
Magazine
action
a whole
gold
lot of
bond
years ago.
medicated powder,
I talk about
reminiscing
myself with
about the
the boyish
dentist's
grin
office.
and the crooked smile.
Highlights Magazine,
And that
The Boring
may
Institute,
have been written by
Wiccans
you. I don't know.
and Psychic
No, that
Predictions,
wasn't. That wasn't.
Tom Menino,
It's from
falling in
feel
love
free to
and
steal
having an
anything that's
affair
not mine.
with a turtle.
Okay, because that was
Spanish
in Mad
soap
Magazine,
operas,
and I thought it
also
might
known
have been
as
one of the
telenovelas.
movie things that you
Greg the
mentioned that
Squirrel
you did.
Guy in
Right.
Burlington.
Okay.
The
No, I just,
1994
let's see,
Geo
I
Prism
wrote Duran's
LSI
had a
sedan.
talk
Community
recently,
auditions.
and
Don
in line
Cornell.
to be fired,
Frolics
and,
and the Bowery.
the
Roots,
next issue
Stories.
out, The Stooges.
Tony Bennett cassettes.
Yes, I've
The new
been
Black
having a
Eagle
lot of
Jazz
fun.
Band. Drum and
I
Bugle
think those
Corps.
things are
Fleetwood Recording
great.
in Revere,
And Mad
Massachusetts.
Magazine is right.
Sound
we'll
effects,
we'll get to the
Confused
Gadgets and
Peepers,
Gizmo.
Random House, the
But
Air
Mad
Travel
Magazine, I think,
Journal,
is so
the
much
World
fun
Cup,
because kids get a
Baby
kick out of
Gold
it
Bond
because it looks like
medicated
a
powder,
comic book,
Mrs.
and
Nelson's
adults read
Candy
it on
House,
a different
the
level.
National
That's
Credit Group,
exactly
Ed
right.
Donahue,
And it's
Adam
interesting
Wolf,
that you said that
Daryl
because,
Gould, Jack
there are
Harte,
certain stories you sort of
and
hear
the
over
man
and over, and one
who's
of them
not
is
the least bit
that
boring.
some guy will
Norm
be
Nathan.
throwing out
I'm
some old
Tony
mans,
Nesbitt.
and he'll glance through them and he'll say, wow, when I was a kid, I was reading this, but now I'm reading it as an adult, and I see there's a whole lot more going on here than I realized when I was younger.
Oh, that's right, because the satire is really very, very clever, and it's that adult satire, obviously, that kids do not get as yet.
That is correct.
Yeah, anyway, I love that. How old is Mad Magazine?
Well, it made us 42 years in February.
Okay, I interviewed not the publisher Gaines, who I know died a couple of something years ago,
Just a year, about a year and a half ago.
year and a half, but the editor,
Al Feldstein?
Al Feldstein,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That was fun.
Al is retired, and now we have Nick Meglin and John Ficara as co-editors.
A lot of the bylines, both the cartoonists and those of you who write the storylines, seems to me have been the same for a lot of
Boy,
years.
we are a family, a close-knit family, and although we have new writers and new artists and new styles, a lot of the original guys are still, as you said, the Mad Folden, Al Jaffe's been there, Mort Drucker, who draws a lot of the movie takeoffs, and Jack Davis. Been around a long time.
And the drawings on the anyway, it's just a fun magazine.
Oh, great. Well, thank you.
Okay, now, how did you get to be the Gadget and Gizmo
Boy,
guy?
you know, believe it or not, Norm, 10 years ago, a friend of mine was producing a local television show, and she said, Dick, I know that you have every gadget in the world because you're a gadget freak. She said, gather some, like, really offbeat Christmas gadgets and come on the show. And I did. And she said, Dick, people love that. Come back and bring some weird Valentine's Day gifts, which I did. And she said, you know, we're at a holidays. You just want to be our consumer reporter. And I said, well, if people buy everything that's sold, it's me. And I started doing that. And then when that show went off, I started doing a monthly segment on Live with Regis and Kathy Lee. And then got picked up on first the National Network and then over at CNBC. And now every week I do Gadgets as the Gadget and Gizmo guy.
Is that kind of fun? Because had you done television before you got into this area?
No, but I was always a big ham. You know, at Mad, I always represent Mad at comic conventions and at publishers' conventions. I always put on shows. So the TV stuff was real easy. I really loved it, and I still love television. I love being on camera. I love being seen and heard, and I like talking about gadgets, so it's perfect.
Okay. In one of the stories about you suggest that electronic gadgets make great presents for kids and big kids and all of that. What are there any new electronic gadgets out this year or in the past couple of years that might be particularly fun?
Yeah, I tell you, it's a little pricey, but I'll tell you what it is, and then listeners can decide. It's called LightSign, LITESIGN, and it's the world's smallest moving billboard. And it's about 3 by 4 inches, and you wear it on a pocket. It's battery operated, and you type in your own message. Like yesterday was the Mad Christmas Party, and I typed in "Bah Humbug," and then it scrolls across your pocket. These little lit up letters scrolls across your pocket and keep circulating. And when I go to a wedding, I type in, congratulations, Sue and Martin. Everybody I go to, I type in little messages. And a woman told me that when she goes to parties, she types in looking for a rich doctor. So it's a real conversation starter. And as I said, it's $99, so it is a pricey gadget. But what's neat about it, for salesmen and stuff, every time you go to a meeting, you type in a new message. You're not wedded to, anything pre-programmed in there. So that's a real fun thing.
Now you say you type it in. It's like a computer kind of thing?
Well, no, it has a little, it has an alphabet, and you scroll through the alphabet. When you get the letter you want, you hit save, and it puts the letter on the screen. You go to the next letter, save. And it sounds tedious, but I can type like a long sentence in about 45 seconds, and then when you have the sentence, you can edit it, and when it's all set, you just hit another button, and it starts scrolling around your pocket.
Oh, that must attract some great attention.
It really does. It was very funny. A couple of weeks ago, I went to a fundraising party for Academy of Arts and Sciences in New York. And I typed on the little screen, trying desperately not to be noticed. And of course, people push through the crowd going, "Oh, what does your pocket say?" And then I would say, "It says that I'm trying not to be noticed." So we had a lot of laughs.
Does it have that many letters on it?
You can do 86 characters.
And they just, like a billboard, like the New York Times thing?
That's exactly right.
Now, what about something maybe a little more practical, or at least a little more inexpensive?
Okay, I tell you, big this year, and people either love them or hate them, are electronic organizers, little ways to save names and addresses electronically. And Royal has introduced a couple of new organizers that very small capacity, hold maybe 20 or 30 electronic names and phone numbers, but they're down to $10. They have a line from $10 up to $100, but what is most amazing is their $80 machine has 128K memory. I don't know if you're a computer expert or not, but when I bought my first Atari computer 10 years ago, it had 128K memory, and it cost me $1,400. So now you have one that fits in your pocket, costs $70, and has 128K. So they're clear across the board. The hottest new gadget, and I'm only mentioning it because it's the hottest new thing. We're talking about something that sells for $700. Are the new PDAs, or personal digital assistants. That's where you write on a screen in handwriting, and it recognizes your handwriting and converts it to text. My experience has been that they're a little bit on the slow side, and again, I don't want to spend $700. But just so your people know what the latest is, that's the latest.
Okay, what are some of the tips? I want to go shopping first thing tomorrow.
Okay.
For Christmas. What do I look for?
Boy, I tell you, before you go out, buy tomorrow's paper. Right now, normally a couple of weeks before Christmas, I tell people to scan the Sunday paper before they go out. But since we're down to a week, every day's newspaper is chock full of ads. So I price shop in my apartment before I head out. I read all the ads carefully. It does two things. One is you get a good idea of what's hot and selling hot. It's because every store is carrying it. Then you look for the lowest price, and even before you set out, you have a pretty good idea of what's on sale. You have a pretty good idea of the price range. Now, when you get to the store, it's important that you tell the salesman the kind of person you're buying the gadget for. If you were buying it for me, or I don't know if you're a Gadget fan or not, but people know if their husbands or boyfriends or girlfriends are Gadget freaks. Tell the salesman he loves gadgets. Then the guy will show you the remote control that controls your coffee pot, your electric blanket, and three things in another person's home. If they're not a gadget freak, tell that to him. Then he'll steer you toward the electronics that just have on, off, volume up, down, something that's not going to overpower somebody, because that's an important thing is to get something that a person's going to want to use. And if they're not a gadget freak, don't buy them something with an instruction book that's the size of the yellow pages, that they won't know what to do with it.
Yeah, because I found that the instructions, because I'm kind of a gadget illiterate, I guess you can say, or computer illiterate. I see these things and they look kind of great. These electronic things that you were suggesting, where you can put in people's names and phone numbers and addresses and carry them around with you in a very small package. And I find it very difficult to figure out how to do that. And Johnny Carson used to kid about the
No, you're
VCRs.
absolutely right. That's why I say if it's not a gadget freak, here's another great thing. People still have trouble programming their VCR. About 2 years ago, a wonderful gadget came out called VCR Plus. And that's the little gadget where you just enter the numbers from the newspaper, and it knows the channel and the time, and it runs your VCR for you. There was one problem, and that's that different communities have different cable companies, and these cable companies do not all use the same channel for, say home box office could be 31 for you, 29 for your neighbor. So when you bought VCR Plus, you had to do a conversion chart and teach this what channels were on what station for your neighborhood. Well, now for this Christmas, there's something brand new called VCR Plus with Call Set. I've seen it on sale already, an introductory price for $50. What you do is your unit comes with a special 800 number. You call the 800 number, you tell them the make of your VCR and the name of your cable company. They tell you to hold on. They tell you to hold the device up to the telephone, and in 3 seconds, they program it for you.
Through the phone?
Through the phone. There's a little microphone on the back of the unit, and they'll tell you to press the microphone against the telephone, and you'll hear 3 seconds. The machine knows everything your cable company does. And, of course, Gemstar, that makes it, has a giant computer with all the info from every local cable company across the country. It's an amazing thing.
I think the era that we live in is amazing, and I can't understand how anybody thought of these kind of developments that we have today.
No, you're absolutely right. It is truly amazing. Casio now has the universal remote control wristwatch.
The universal remote control wristwatch. Now, that is what?
It looks like a regular wristwatch, except on the side, there are 3 extra buttons. VCR, TV, power on, off. You buy the watch, you look up the name of your manufacturer of your TV set, and you find the little number in the code book, and you put that in the watch. Then you look up the manufacturer's code for the make of VCR you have, and you put that into the watch. And the watch controls your TV and your VCR. And it works. It works. As I tell people, what I like to do is go down to an electronics store with it and just turn on TVs and turn them off and change channels and drive everybody crazy.
I'm still excited about the invention of the ballpoint pen. I can't believe, or the wheel. I can't believe all this. What you had other tips too? For example, buy decent batteries. And also make sure that you get all the attachments and things before you leave.
That's interesting. Last Christmas, I had recommended something called Neck Light, and it was a clever device. A strap with like a flashlight on it that hung around your neck, except the flashlight had a cap on it, and when you opened the cap, the light came on, and it was for reading in the dark. You wanted to read while your mate slept. You wanted to read a book on an airplane, and they have those dinky little overhead lights. And so this woman called me up. She said, I bought the Neck Light, but I love it, but it runs 20 minutes, and then the batteries die. And I said, what kind of batteries? And she said, something in the 5 and 10. And well, the problem is you can buy carbon zinc batteries for $1. But if you look on 95% of all devices today, you'll see somewhere on the box, it'll say, use alkaline batteries only. Because alkaline batteries are high power batteries, and a battery like a Duracell can last 4 to 6 times longer than your zinc carbon battery. So you save a few cents at the outset, but you really lose it in performance and having the gadget go dead on you in a very short time. So that's the tip there. Is another battery tip is a lot of devices now take 6 and 8 batteries, especially like new boom boxes. Even though Duracells will power that and keep it running, 8 batteries, you have to be careful. If you put one in backwards, you're not going to get power out of any of the 8 of them. So check the instruction book. If you lose the instruction book, look inside the cover. Almost every manufacturer will embossed into the plastic cover will be the correct positioning for those batteries. So that's another important thing you want to do also.
Yeah, see, operating a lot of computer stuff may be a problem, but batteries I put in just so they're beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah, that's and also you mentioned, be sure to get all the connecting things.
That's I always tell people that's another, and I'm glad you mentioned that too. Before you leave the store, you say, I'm hooking this up to my TV, or I'm hooking this up to so-and-so. Is everything I need in this box? If you're buying a telephone answering machine, is the modular jack here? Tell the guy, maybe you have the old 4-prong jack. Is there a converter in the box? Because the worst thing in the world is Sunday, Christmas Day. This year it's Saturday. Christmas Day, it's really hard to go around finding connecting cables and phone ports. So before you leave the store, make sure you have everything, the right number of batteries, the connecting cables, so that Christmas Day, when people want to play with these things, they can. And another important thing is read the instruction book carefully. Not only will you find a tip you may overlook, but very often on the last page, you'll find a thing that will say, have you followed all the instructions? Still can't get your device to work? We're here 24 hours a day. And a lot of people, I know General Electric for one does, they have a 24-hour hotline. And a couple of Christmases ago, I got a remote control that I got lost using. And I called someone up and I said, you're there Christmas Day? And they said, we're getting tons of calls. Everybody got these gadgets. So check the instruction book and see if there isn't someone at an 800 number who can help you.
Hey, you've offered some very, very good tips, including one that I know you'll suggest is keeping all the packing material, that kind of stuff, in case you want to return something.
Yes, absolutely. And it's a 2-part thing, Norm, is that people say, oh, Dick, should I send the warranty card? And the answer is yes, because especially on a high-dollar item or an electrical item, somewhere down the line, there could be a manufacturing defect. Possibly the manufacturer will come up with an upgrade kit where a device you already own can do more. The only way they know who bought the device is by you sending in the warranty card. And manufacturers, yes, you're probably going to end up on their mailing list, which I personally don't mind. If you don't want to write on the warranty card, for your information only, don't send me any literature. But you want the manufacturer to be able to get in touch with you. But the other thing about warranty cards is don't fill them out for the first week. These days, most reliable stores have what's called 7-day even exchange. If within the first full 7 days, out of the box, it's dead, you bring it back and they'll give you a new one over the counter. They will not do that if you filled out the warranty card, because the warranty cards usually carry the serial number of your particular device. So play with the device, use it. If you make it to the 8th day and it's fine, send in the warranty card. And some manufacturers will actually send you a little gift. I bought a Brother printer, and if you send in the warranty card, they'll send you a free ribbon.
Hey, I got to get going because we got news coming up.
Sorry.
On the half hour. No, hey, Dick, you've been greatly helpful, and keep doing your funny stuff for Matt as well as the gadgets. And
I will. Thank you, and have a very happy holiday.
Thank you, Dick DeBartolo.
Bye.
You too. Bye now. News time now. We'll see what else is happening throughout the world. Norm Nathan here at the WBZ Boston. The time is now 12:30, boys and girls.
A homecoming at New York's Fort Drum in a few hours. More than 400 troops from the base are due back from their tour of duty in Somalia. First U.S. combat troops to return. Another small town shocked by another shooting. A woman who works at a shopping center in Hugo, Oklahoma, says she didn't think the shooting was real until she saw people running and ducking. A gunman with an automatic rifle killed 2 people and injured several others before taking his own life. So-called suicide doc Jack Kevorkian is out of jail now and in a hospital where he's recuperating from a 17-day hunger strike. Kevorkian was released from jail after promising not to help anyone commit suicide for the time being until the Michigan court case is settled. The economy may be rebounding, but that apparently is for some. There are more than a few that are not sharing the ride. Catholic Charities USA says growing demand for emergency aid is using up most resources of charitable organizations. From the CNN News Center, I'm Sam Hall. The man accused of killing 6 people in a shooting rampage on a Long Island Railroad commuter train, he's got some complaints. The story from CNN's Brian Jenkins in New York.
Through his attorneys, Colin Ferguson claimed that jail officers had attacked him with a milk carton and a fire extinguisher. He also complained that he couldn't sleep with the light in his cell kept on round the clock, presumably because of a suicide watch. Ferguson also asked to have his court-appointed lawyer replaced by Brooklyn attorney Colin Moore. Last week, Moore recalled that Ferguson seemed to be losing touch with reality at the time he handled a case for the Jamaican immigrant 2 years ago. Brian Jenkins, CNN, New York.
The budget hit on the Pentagon may not be as tough as first thought. President Clinton and his top advisors say the post-Cold War shortfall may be around $30 billion, not the $50 billion talked about earlier. This is CNN Radio News.
I'm Darrell Gould, WBZ News. A New Bedford man who went on a long-distance shooting spree 2 years ago has been sentenced to 2 consecutive 15 to 30-year prison terms after being convicted in New Hampshire of shooting 2 women, including his ex-wife, at the New Hampshire end of his travels. Joaquim Almeida already is doing time in Massachusetts for shooting a woman in New Bedford earlier that day. All 3 women have recovered, though the 2 New Hampshire victims did suffer permanent nerve damage. A 16-year-old from Milton is under arrest, charged with the stabbing death of a 20-year-old Boston man earlier this month. The youngster faces a charge of juvenile delinquency by reason of murder in the stabbing of Sean Connolly in Roslindale on December 12th. Everybody is getting into the legalized gambling casino act. The chairman of New Hampshire's House Appropriations Committee, Representative Channing Brown, is studying the feasibility of putting a casino on the property of what used to be Pease Air Force Base. He says it would be a mistake not to consider that idea. Now let's check traffic on the threes. Here's WBZ's Jack Harte.
Well, thank you, Darrell. Work goes on area roadways. We've got work crews out on Route 3 heading northbound and southbound and around routes 495 and 110 in the Lowell area. Be very careful throughout the overnight. Some good delays there. We're dealing with some work crews inside the Sumner Tunnel. One lane shut down till about 5:30, 6 o'clock, while they do some just some light maintenance. Be careful. Tobin Bridge heading into the city, heading out of the city. No work crews tonight. However, some pretty hefty volume to watch out for. Expressway heading northbound, light volume there. These next several holiday weeks, we will see an increase in ever-vigilant state and local police officers. Drive with care. I'm Jack Harte, WBZ 24-Hour Traffic Network.
If you suffer from motion sickness, listen to Arlene Trigg of Coquille, Oregon.
Driving on very twisty, turny, scenic routes, I get very nauseated, very sick at my stomach.
It's time you discovered doctor-recommended Marazine. Marazine tablets take the sickness out of travel, help prevent that queasy, nauseous feeling, help treat the dizziness and sickness motion can cause.
Marazine always settled my stomach so well when I flew or traveled by car where I knew it was going to be a twisty, turny road. I have recommended it to everybody that has mentioned that they might get a little motion sickness.
Marazine contains a medically proven ingredient no other leading motion sickness tablet has. And Marazine won't cause the marked drowsiness Dramamine may cause.
Marazine has made it possible for me to travel with pleasure, enjoy the view, enjoy going on trips, which I used to just hate.
Marazine, M-A-R-E-Z-I-N-E. Marazine tablets take the sickness out of travel. Use only as directed. Available at all Brooks drugstores.
I'm WBZ Accuweather meteorologist Dave Bowers. It'll be clear and cold overnight. Low temperature of 27 in the city to 16 in the coldest suburbs. Saturday will start off with some sunshine, then increasing cloudiness with a high of 44. Saturday evening cloudy, then a bit of rain overnight, a low temperature 36. For Sunday, that rain could mix with or change to wet snow for a while, high temperature of 40. On Monday, some sunshine will return, a high temperature 44. I'm WBZ Accuweather meteorologist Dave Bowers.
The temperature in Boston right now is 28 degrees. 28 degrees. Thank you so much. It's 12:35. Norm Nathan here to WBZ. Our phone number is 254-1030. And we'll take some calls now. That's because that's the kind of people we are. 254-1030. Our area code is 617. And just give me a call and let me know what it is you'd like to talk about. Thank you just so much. You heard about Donald Trump and Marla Maples are getting married on Monday. The news story says Marla Maples may appear a little top-heavy. I was getting kind of excited when I saw that part of the story, but it has nothing to do with what you may be thinking. She'll be marching down the aisle at Donald Trump's Plaza Hotel wearing a 325 diamond tiara over her wedding veil. Just some little simple thing. The coronet with a 20-carat rock as its centerpiece will be on loan from jeweler Harry Winston, who's a friend of the groom. Oh, I see. He hasn't bought that for her. But Maple's 7.5-carat ring won't go back to the store when the wedding's over. It's the one that Donald gave her the last time they were engaged 2.5 years ago. Trump is the father of Maple's first child, 2-month-old Tiffany, which is an appropriate name, I guess, like the name of the diamond store. Anyway, 254-1030, area code 617. We'll take some calls in just a bit, but first,
James Rife of Riverdale, Illinois, is telling us about his itchy skin problem.
I was flaky skin and redness after scratching. It was irritated, and there was some redness to it, but it was just a constant itch.
But James Rife got relief using Triple Action Gold Bond Medicated Powder.
And I started using Gold Bond and never had no problem since then. The initial reaction was it was kind of soothing, and then all of a sudden it was a cooling effect. And after that, it seemed like the itching disappeared.
Gold Bond's Triple Action is like 3 great powders in one. It has the absorbing action of powder, the medicating action of a proven itch fighter, and the drying action of zinc oxide. That's Triple Action Gold Bond.
After using it a few times, I've been using it ever since. Gold Bond medicated powder. It stopped the itching. That's the main thing. Gold Bond has did wonders for me.
Try Triple Action Gold Bond Medicated Powder. Use only as directed. Available at Osco Drug.
Okay, 254-1030, area code 617, and I would love just so darn much to talk to you. Let's start with Andrew in Norwell. Hi, Andrew.
Hey, Norm, how are you?
Hey, pretty good. How are you doing?
Fine, thanks. Happy Hanukkah.
Hey, happy Hanukkah to you and a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
And a Happy New Year, too.
I'm just getting started wishing people that now. I'm kind of in the mood.
Oh, up to this time, you haven't gotten into the, it hasn't felt
Too
like
busy.
it.
Too busy.
Oh, busy, too busy. Doing what?
Oh, just work, and I've got a new baby at home and keeping busy with him. And
How old is he?
he's 11 weeks.
Oh.
Nice kid.
He's about the same age as the Donald Trump and Marla Maples baby. Is this your first child?
No, second. I have a 2.5-year-old.
Oh, well, you're an old pro at it then.
Oh, sure. But between the two, boy, I tell you, 2 kids is like 10 times the work as 1 kid.
Let me write that down and put that into the equation.
Would you?
Okay.
Warn people. If you got that first kid and you're ready for a second one, it's 10 times the work.
No, well, I mean, you have 2 little babies. That is kind of tough.
Yeah, 2 in diapers is tough.
Yeah.
I wanted to first tell you that when you were talking to the fellow from Mad Magazine,
Yes.
I was reminiscing about when I first saw Mad. I was a little kid going to the dentist office, and my dentist had a subscription. And that's where I first saw it.
What a hip dentist.
Yeah.
Normally they have...
He looked kind of like Alfred E. Newman, too.
That's kind of funny. Normally they have... what is that? There's a child's magazine that's kind of a little more intellectual than most. Highlight. A lot of dentists have that.
Yeah, my pediatrician had that.
Oh, yeah, and then they have... my dentist has... Let's see. He has some skiing magazine because he's a skiing buff.
Uh-huh.
But he also has up-to-date magazines. Most places don't have that.
Yeah.
I find that the less you have to wait, and the quicker they call you in for your appointment, the more up-to-date the magazines are because you don't seem to have time to read them.
No time to read them, and no one has time to steal them.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Could be. After that, you started talking about Marla Maples.
Yes.
And I thought I'd get your show off kind of on a roll tonight.
That's good, because you know that, you understand as the first caller, you're the overture.
That's right. This is
And
it.
You set the pace, so...
I don't take on that burden lightly.
No, because you're under stress now, and you seem to be handling it okay.
Okay. If my voice starts to quiver, just cut me off and do me a favor.
No, I'll start to sing over it or something so people will notice.
Terrific. No one will notice then. I'd like people to think about the most boring people of 1993.
Interesting you should say that, because there is an organization, maybe this is what inspired you to say that, called the Boring Institute.
So actually, your story about Marla Maples and Donald Trump is what inspired me.
I know.
Because I'm going to vote for them. They are the most boring couple of 1993.
That's kind of funny. I think maybe I'll grab some paper right this very moment while you're saying that.
Hey, maybe we'll take some votes, see who wins at the end of the night.
We'll jot those things down. The Boring Institute selected, and I don't have the list with me, and I can't remember whether these 2 were on the list or not.
Well, we can save that for another night to compare them.
Okay, but...
So here it is tonight.
Okay, tonight we're going to put on Donald Trump and Marla Maples. You think...
The most boring couple.
The fact that they're getting married to each other, they deserve it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And as far as the most boring person, I'd have to say Michael Jackson.
Yeah, he's been in the news so much, you kind of think of... Yeah, that's enough.
Leave the poor guy alone, for goodness sake.
I would put in that category, though, also... LaToya Jackson.
Oh, the whole Jackson family.
Hey, let's put the whole Jackson family. Good idea.
So we got things rolling now.
Anybody else you want to put on that list?
Oh, no, I think that'll do it. I'll let the rest of your callers and the rest of your listeners kind of fill it out. But those would be my 3 top vote getters for the most boring family/couple/individual in 1993.
Okay, let me add a couple before you go.
Oh, sure.
I'm going to add Regis Philbin.
Oh.
I'm writing these names down, too, so I'm talking slowly. And Kathy...
oh, my goodness. Kathy Lee Gifford.
Kathy Lee Gifford, yeah. Because I think her husband is kind of boring, too, except Except when he does football and stuff.
When he
seems
does
to know what he's
play-by-play,
talking
he's
about.
great. But when
if
he tries to do an interview,
he's even more boring than Kathy Lee.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, let me put down his name, too. Oh, we're on a roll here, fella.
Sure.
Okay. We'll see. The lines are beginning to light up. I don't know.
I bet they are.
I don't know whether that's in response to the boring part or whether they got other things to say, but we'll find out.
All right, Norm.
Andrew, good luck on your new baby.
Thank you very much. Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom to you, too. Okay, we'll go to Daniel in Stoneham. Hi, Daniel. You're on WBZ.
This is Daniel from Somerville, Norman.
Oh, Somerville. I'm sorry, Daniel.
How you doing, Norman?
Yes. You're calling me Norman. That is really nice.
I'm your adopted son, remember,
That's
Norman?
right, and you always call me Norman. If you were my adopted son, you ought to be calling me Daddy.
Well, listen here, Dad. Don't let that guy bother you. That guy was bothering you from Canada. A couple of weeks ago saying you didn't have your own views.
I guess that's true. Yeah, I don't know. I forget about those calls very quickly, so it doesn't really bother me.
Yeah,
no.
don't let him bother you, Norman. I'll take care of him, Norman, with my spells.
Oh, that's right, too. You're the guy with the spells. You're the witch.
Can I make a prediction, Norman?
Go ahead.
Within the last 21 days, you spoke with one of your daughters.
That's not a prediction.
Am I right or wrong?
You know, you're right. Of course.
There you go.
I talk to. I've said on the air, I talk to him almost every day. So what kind of a prediction is that? And you're not predicting. You're telling what happened in the past. That's not a prediction, is
Okay,
it?
in the next 21 days, you'll speak to one of your daughters.
That's true. I'm going to make another prediction.
No, don't hang up on me, Norman.
No, I'm not going to hang up on you. I'm just going to say that when this conversation is ended, we'll both hang up on each other.
Oh,
That's my prediction. What do you think of that?
And I'll make another prediction.
Okay.
You really like Massachusetts a lot.
That's not a prediction. That's a statement, but it's true. Yes, I do. I think it's a great state.
And you're a big Red Sox fan.
I'm a big Red Sox. Boy, you know a lot of stuff, Daniel.
See, I told you I'm a psychic, Norman.
You are a psychic.
Hey, Norman.
That's incredible.
Norman,
The fact that I've mentioned it on the air about 8,000 times has nothing whatever to do with it, I suppose.
Oh, don't give me a hard time.
I won't. I'm sorry.
You know you like me, Norman.
I do like you. I didn't say I didn't like you.
Hey, Norman, do you want me to pick the lottery numbers?
I don't think so.
You don't want to win the lottery?
Well, no, but why, if you could pick the number, why would you share it with other people?
Because I don't want to have to pay taxes, Norman.
Because you won't have to pay taxes?
Yeah, you pay me, and then you pay the tax.
Oh, then I see. I pay the tax, and you get the money under the table.
That's right, Norman.
I don't think I'd like that arrangement.
I just want to pay you a compliment, Norman.
Oh, you can do that. You keep calling me Norman. That's just a comforting.
I was just going to say, I think you should be proud of yourself that your daughters are 30 or 35 or whatever they are. I don't want to get you in trouble. But you still have a good relationship with them, and that's a test of successful parenting, Norman.
That's right. I am a fantastic father. I'm a successful parent. I'm so proud of that.
All right, have a good day, Norman.
You too, Daniel.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. He shouldn't say have a good day. He should predict that I will have a good day. I think he slept up on that one. You betcha. Don, how you doing?
Hi, Norm. How are you tonight?
Fine, thank you.
I'd like to add a vote to the list of the most boring people.
Okay, great.
Roseanne and Tom Arnold.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I was going to say Tom is even more boring than she is, but that's probably not true. I think they're both on about the same level.
Well, he may be worse than she in terms of being boring, but she is by far the more obnoxious of the two.
Boring and obnoxious. There's a pairing for you. No, I'll buy that. That's pretty good.
And for an individual,
yes,
no offense intended, but your new mayor there, Mr. Menino.
Yeah, he's probably. I have a feeling he's going to be a great mayor, and he's very efficient and knows the job. But he is boring.
Somewhat underspoken, shall we say?
Yeah, he is. He doesn't grab you when he's speaking. You would just soon be maybe in the bathroom or some other room.
Listen, have a wonderful holiday, and thanks very much.
You too. Thanks a lot, Don.
Bye.
Bye-bye. It's kind of fun to see who you think is boring. I hadn't thought of that as a subject, but that's pretty good. One day we could have, you could tell me who you think are more exciting people. That is not as much fun, though, is it? Taking a negative approach is much more interesting. Taking a positive approach is boring. That's true. Okay. Marty. Oh, it's my friend Marty, the newspaper guy down in Rockland. Hi, Marty.
Uncle Ben, how are you?
I'm just fine. I hope you're okay.
Yeah, listening to that caller before the last caller, did he say he was a psychic or a physic?
So you're doing shtick, aren't you, Marty?
I'm trying.
Okay.
Now you're talking about boring people.
Yes.
Nationally, well, we've talked to the Jackson family. Let's include Jesse Jackson on that one. I have a hard time with that guy.
Jesse Jackson, you want to include? Okay.
Sure. Any so-called expert on any crisis happening anywhere, as soon as somebody says there's a big story in the news, it gets inundated with experts. We've got experts on Somalia, who I don't even think could spell the name of the country. It just goes on and on.
You know who I think really are boring along those. Speaking of that, I hadn't thought about the experts on political events or geography or that kind of stuff. But I was thinking about the experts who are on these talk shows. For example, they'll have a mother screaming at her daughter because the daughter doesn't clean up her room and goes out with guys that the mother doesn't approve of. So they'll have an expert on, a psychologist who is they call him usually a family relations expert.
Yeah.
And they're going to, and no matter what the topic is, there's somebody falls in love with turtles, for example, and wants to have an affair with their girlfriend's brother's turtle. They'll find somebody who's written a book on the subject, and they sit there and they analyze the whole. These are. Okay, let's put the TV psychologists on the list as boring.
I stopped there. Let's put TV talk show hosts.
I think a lot of that is quite true also. I think you have to go pretty far.
I laugh with the cable system here in Rockland. We've got channel 27 out of Worcester, which is, it used to be WHIL or something like that.
Well, no, it was
WUNO or something.
Yeah, it was WHLL, and it's now it's WUNI.
Yeah.
But you know what's good about that channel? And this is going to sound lecherous, but what the heck? If you can't be lecherous at my age, what's the point of living?
Some racy shows in there.
Oh, they have some of the most beautiful women during these Spanish-speaking programs. And the nice
one that I think is a real riot is the Spanish Sally Jesse Raphael.
Oh, she's on at 4:00 in the afternoon. Yeah, the blonde lady.
Yeah, with the red glasses and everything else, and the set is exactly the same. I think it's a riot.
Does she wear red glasses?
Yeah.
I hadn't even noticed that. I don't see too much of that. But now before her is this fat, funny-looking guy who's got these fantastic models with great legs.
Yeah.
And
he's a bit of a wet too.
He doesn't look like he belongs. And they got these beautiful women. And before that, they have the soap operas with him. And the nice thing is, I can't understand what they're saying. It doesn't really matter. I just like the way they move.
And another one on the list, I want to put Barney on the list.
Okay, that's because you're not a kid anymore.
Well,
shame on you.
Oh, I'm a big kid. I've got a Nerf dart gun. Every time Barney comes on TV, I want to blast the little purple bugger. But and it doesn't hurt the TV, and it releases a lot of aggression.
Okay.
And locally, Norm.
Yeah.
Locally for our boring list.
Yeah.
You got to have your friend Greg from Burlington.
Oh, well, that's true. Also, you can put on the list Robert from Everett, too, if you want.
Okay, sure. You could add Robert from Everett, too.
Sure,
but,
sure.
I
could name a whole...
in the local dictionary, there is Greg, knee-deep in his drainage. They start to bring him a snorkel and fin set for Christmas.
we have a number of people who call. You could put on that list too. I don't want to name them all because I don't want to create too much animosity.
Program it does not use their real name.
Well, that may be a lie. I know some people may not want to, but some are interesting anyway.
Well, some of them will call you a couple of times and use different names. I think that's even funny.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
The ones that make the radio show circuit.
No, there's a woman from Lawrence who does that.
Yeah.
Because she knows I don't like to talk to her, so she calls with a different name each time. But she has a unique voice. You can't miss it, I know as soon as she says hello, I know who it is. It's kind of funny.
Before I let you go, Norm, I just want to wish Our good friend Esther, also from Rockland, a very speedy recovery. She had some eye surgery this week, and she went into it very nervous, but she came out of it very relaxed. So
Oh, that's good. Everything worked out okay?
I hope so, yeah.
Good.
Okay?
Hey, Marty, keep writing.
You're counting down there, pal. We get to raise a little whoopee this coming week, you know. You're going to be covering for Bob, and you got a special day coming up.
Well, I don't know what special day you mean, but I'll be on New Year's Eve. I'll be on anyway, because that's on a Friday night.
Well, there's a certain thing happening the 20th, Norm.
Oh, you devil. You know that, don't you?
Yes. And I am going to try to pen my second Norm Nathan anniversary of his birth poem.
Okay.
All right, so talk to you then.
Okay, Marty, thanks a lot.
Take care, Norm.
You too. Bye-bye. I'll be looking for the poem. You betcha.
Does your baby suffer from red, irritating diaper rash?
He had a diaper rash. It was red and bumpy and yucky looking.
Then Teresa Ng of Edmonds, Washington, discovered Baby Gold Bond medicated powder made specially for babies' sensitive skin.
And then we bought Baby Gold Bond. It really seemed to help. Baby Gold Bond is a medicated baby powder that helps clear up his diaper rash by keeping him drier.
Baby Gold Bond combines zinc oxide with the finest talcum powder to relieve baby's red, irritated skin and actually helps prevent rash with ingredients medical experts recognize as both safe and effective, including a skin-protecting medication ordinary baby powders don't have.
In every diaper change, we use Baby Gold Bond. And he seemed to be more comfortable with it. It kept him drier. It's great. It works really good.
Baby Gold Bond medicated powder does more for diaper rash than ordinary baby powders. Use only as directed. Available at Toys R Us.
Your favorite malls in Massachusetts and New Hampshire have joined WBZ to help the kids at Children's Hospital. You can help and get a chance to drive away in a 1994 Geo Prism LSI sedan, valued at over $14,000.
Okay. That's Darrell Gould, news guy. Ace news guy, not just news guy, ace news guy. Okay, let's see. How about
WBZ's Jack Harte? Well, thank you, Darrell. Work crews continue on area roadways. This report brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. We've got some work crews out on Route 3 right now, northbound and southbound between routes 495 and 110 in the Lowell area, so drive with some care. If you're traveling downtown, you'll find one lane in the Sumner Tunnel has been shut down for some overnight repairs. Be careful there as well. We are seeing an influx of state and local police on area roadways. If you're intending on drinking this holiday season, you may want to avoid driving. I'm Jack Harte, WBZ 24-Hour Traffic Network.
Happy holiday, Charlestown. You're looking well this year. You've seen much revolution in America you've shared. The struggle for independence, as our forefathers declared, a demand for the right of liberty, which had fallen on deaf ears. You've seen the settlement of Puritans, watched the red man move away, endured the cry of freedom at Bunker Hill's bloody fray. You felt the bondage of slavery when your sons took sword and shield to fight again for liberty, prepared on our training field. You welcomed Irish immigrants to these unfamiliar shores, viewed their battle against indifference Yankee prejudice had bore. The blue bloods packed and moved away as the red man years before. You winced when the world went twice to war to ensure our forefathers' aim. In Korea, too, then Vietnam, you also shared the pain. You're a cornerstone of America which helped fortify a nation. A sense of pride and gratitude lay deep in this foundation. Your native sons and daughters have endowed our preservation. It's here we call life home, no matter how far we roam, on God's great granted earth. I've known this place since birth. Yes, I'm proud to be a townie. As this year circumstantiates its position in our life, we remember those of yesteryear and the dreams they left behind. We instill within our memory the meaning of their pride, so we can carry on the best we can in what our history has bound. No matter where life finds us, we've shared in Charlestown.
Very nice, Bob. Oh, Hank, you can do better than that. You know why they did the 49th?
No.
Why I say they, it's my daughter Sonia who worked on it along with her sister, my other daughter Sarah. It's because at first when they started doing it, see, at first we thought it was kind of a funny idea in case I didn't make the 50th or I was fired or died or something. But the reason is, she thought it was the 50th, and by the time she realized it was only the 49th, she had already lined up so many people.
Oh,
She didn't back away. Yeah, it was nothing satirical about that. That's why it was.
A couple of us broadcast enthusiasts were speculating on it recently, and we were wondering if you were going to be retiring next year or something. And
Well, I may very well be retiring or be forced into retirement, one or the other. But that isn't the reason for the 49th.
Oh,
no.
I see.
The reason I just stated is it, and I think that's kind of funny.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, actually, was kind of fun.
But I don't know how we can top it for the 50th. We had just about everybody in the world on that night.
Yeah.
And were you on? No, you were not on because nobody could get through that night.
I couldn't get through that night. No,
the lines were.
I was up in Maine that night.
Oh, sure. Pull rank on me with that. I was up in Maine. Sure, be a big shot. Oh, sure.
Yes, I was up in Maine because it was a hot night. Wasn't it a hot night? I'm not sure. I think it was in May, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was in May. It was in May. And very well might have been.
Starting to get hot, and I spent my weekend up there, and it was a good show. It was a really good show. I hate to admit it, but it was a good show. I finally insulted you.
No. A good insult would be, it was a good show. Too bad that you were on it. Something like that.
That's right. That's what
you're not good at insulting people, Hank. I'm ashamed of you.
That's true. That's true. And thanks for the compliment.
Okay, take care of yourself.
How old are you? About 100?
I'm the only guy in the air who's actually mentioned his age a number of times.
I know.
Nobody else will mention it. No, this Monday is my
You're
birthday.
You're going to be 69.
68, actually.
Oh, 68. Yeah. Yes, I knew that. I thought I'd dress it up a bit.
That's your way of zinging, eh?
Yeah.
No, that's kind of... Just ask anybody else on the air how old they are. You'll never get an answer except from me because I'm an honest, decent, lovable jerk.
Yeah.
Now, I insult myself worse than you do.
Well, yes, you do. That's true.
Listen, I got to get going, Hank, because there are probably some other boring people like you who want to talk.
Oh, yes, as a matter of fact, that's right. You can add my name to the boring list.
Okay.
Okay?
Bye-bye, Hank.
And add your name to it, too. Bye.
Hey, that's a good one. That's a very good one.
Well, thank you, Darrell. We are dealing with in the outer roadways. Many of the taverns and establishments have closed, and some of those people have been let loose onto the roadways. Many of them celebrating the holiday season. Watch out for them. We do have some work crews, Route 3, northbound and southbound, between routes 495 and 110. That's in the Lowell area. They'll be there until about 5:30, 6 o'clock. A little bit of a delay right now. Downtown, the Sumner Tunnel, one lane shut down, the left lane, in fact, till just about 6 o'clock while they do some light maintenance.
Yes, that's very good.
Now, listen, I want to go back for a second to that fellow Hank you were talking to.
Uh-huh.
I have a pretty good memory, and I think sometimes you ought to let him sing, because many years back, when he called himself Henry, he sang on community auditions.
Oh, you never forget, do you? You Yankees never forget. Yes.
He's a very good singer.
Yes, I didn't stop him from singing.
Yes, you did.
Oh, I did not.
Anyhow, I went and add my favorite boring and obnoxious person to your list.
Okay, hold on a minute while I pull out the list. Okay.
Howard Stern.
Oh, he's already been mentioned.
Oh, has he? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, he's been mentioned.
I missed that. I only left the room for a minute.
No, the fact that there were 3 names by this fellow who called, all of whom I would put on the list. Howard Stern, Howie Carr, and Rush Limbaugh.
Oh, and Maury Povich.
Oh, I kind of find him, if not fascinating, not quite in the same category, but I'll put his name down if you'd like.
And
sure.
I have number 3. I've really given him a chance as Conan O'Brien. I've really tried. I really have.
No, I find him boring, too. You know, I really wanted to like him also.
I did, too.
He just looks like he's totally out of his element.
I know it. Really, you know.
It's like he ought to have worked in a small station for about 5 or 6 years and hone his act. He's not really ready for prime, not even prime time, but not for the network yet. I'm sure he's a nice guy, and I'm pleased he's abroad. He just looks like he's trying so hard to do something.
That's true.
And it just nothing much ever happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to give you an update. At a lot of places I went.
Oh, also, hold on a minute. I'm going to I got another one I'm going to add to that too. A hall.
Who?
Arsenio.
Oh, Arsenio Hall.
Arsenio Hall, I want to put on that one, because I find him really terribly boring also.
Yes.
He sounds to me like he's trying to make a big deal out of kind of nothing.
Right.
Not big deal out of. That's not kind of any kind of an intelligent critique. He just looks kind of phony. I don't believe he's as interested in his guest as he assumes to be. But then again, most of the talkos probably are not. It's just they're hoping they'll be shocking and outrageous and funny and stuff, so their ratings will go up. But they probably don't much care beyond that.
Well, Howard was on with Jay Leno tonight, and he was really obnoxious, absolutely obnoxious.
Yeah, he makes all the major shows and publications, and I wonder why is that?
And his book is #1 bestseller in the New York Times.
Right up there with Rush Limbaugh.
But he was on David Letterman at the same time tonight, so I mean it was just turn it off. You don't know which one to watch.
Now, who was on with Letterman?
Rush Limbaugh was on with David Letterman.
Really?
At the same time, Howard Stern was on with Jay Leno. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. But anyhow, and he kept talking about how terrible Rush Limbaugh was. I guess they fight all the time or something. And it's also boring. I mean, who really cares?
Okay, yeah.
Is that right? Now, I have to give you a little update from last week. I went to several places this week, and a lot of people heard you call my neighbor who was having that wild party. Remember that?
Yeah, that turned out to be a very tame phone call.
Yes, but the next morning, when you come out and you find the elevator broken and all this vandalism in your hallway, you think, is this serious? So I wasn't going to say anything at all, really, except to the landlord, and I bumped into the young person, and I said, having a party is okay, but doing all this stuff, and she said, listen. And I got this, yes, she said, I have no control over my friends. And I said, see you later.
You have no control over people's actions at your own party?
Can you believe that? I mean, really, unbelievable. But anyhow, so we decided she might not be here much longer. So next time we'll have you call her a little stronger. But I mean, it's kind of silly. A person in the 20s, you think they were 14 years old. We live on the 5th floor, and there's about 200 steps, and you have to walk because the elevator's broken and all this silly stuff. But it's holiday time, so we're all full of cheer. Isn't that nice?
That sounds like the opening line to a poem. Holiday time, we're all full of cheer. Let's have some more cake and drink some more beer.
Did you get my little package?
I did. I haven't looked at it.
Oh, you have to look at it. See, the thing was, I came over, made a special trip today, but you're so popular.
Okay, I've got the gift in front of me.
You were so popular that there was no room in your mailbox. And I, out of the kindness of my heart, got a mailing envelope and put a whole bunch of your mail in there with your name on it in case you haven't found it yet.
No, I found that. I just put it aside. I haven't had a chance to look through it yet.
And then so I put that in Tony Nesbitt's mailbox, see?
Oh, isn't that nice?
But
it's Tony Bennett.
Yeah,
it's the new Tony Bennett.
And it really is great. It's because a lot of it is... I'm very tired. What's his name? His piano player? Ralph Sharon. The Ralph Sharon Trio is featured a lot of times on that tape, and it really is super. And actually, you're lucky because it's sold out. I got the last one, and I've been trying to get another one for a relative of mine. I can't get it anyplace.
No kidding.
It's going to, because I think, frankly, the last one, the Frank Sinatra one, was okay, but this one is really super. It's much better.
Good.
It's probably getting the best. I think you really like it, though, because it's got some great songs, and the music is super. I mean, I'm not shilling for Tony Bennett because he is not my favorite singer. I like him, but the music is just great.
Who's your favorite singer?
Oh, well, I like a lot of people. I mean,
Probably
I like
Don Cornell singing "It Isn't Fair for Me to Watch It."
Isn't that funny you would say that? Because when he said to you, call Perry Como, I was going to say, why don't you call Don Cornell? He lives in Miami. They're all retired now.
I'm sure Don Cornell is a lovely man, but I've never really been a big fan of his.
No, I like a lot of singers, but no.
Yeah, I can't even stand the way he sings, to tell you the truth.
I like Johnny Mathis. I like Steve Lawrence. I like those kind of singers. If you're going to sing straight, those kind of songs. But Don Cornell is okay.
But you don't put Tony Bennett up in that category?
No, I never have. Isn't that funny? And I worked with him when I was in, working for the record company, and spent an entire week at Salisbury Beach during hurricane season. He was working at the Frolic, and Don Cornell, who was really my client, was working at a place called the Bowery. And also there was a comedian named Jack Sue on the bill. Remember him? He was on Barney Miller.
Yes.
And there was nothing to do there all week because there was nobody around.
Are you telling me why you don't like Don Cornell, or are you giving me an autobiographical sketch here?
Talking about how I worked with Tony Bennett. I think it's a good singer.
I don't. Hold on just a minute.
Yes.
Any of you kids ask Ruth how she worked with Tony Bennett? Nobody raised the question.
I thought you'd like to hear this funny story because we didn't have anything to do. So I took them to all the radio stations in New Hampshire, and they both had big hit records, and I was a hero anywhere I went. Two big stars coming for interviews.
Anybody ask Ruth any of this? No, I'm looking at the card now.
Okay, but I do like them. I mean, you know.
I don't even care anymore. I don't even care what the answer. So now that there's a picture of a big kind of a bear, is that a dog? I guess that's a bear with a nice little gentle smile. So now that you're celebrating another birthday, you're probably saying to yourself, and this is on the cover, you're probably saying to yourself, then you turn the pages, well, you're probably saying a lot of things to yourself. That's what people your age do.
It was only for fun. Are you hanging up?
I noticed that your handwriting is very shaky, like an old lady's handwriting.
That's right. Left-handed people, but all left-handed people are geniuses.
I'm just joking. Will you stop taking yourself so seriously?
All left-handed people.
No, I thank you very much for the card and the tape.
You're welcome.
Tony Bennett happens to be one of my favorite singers, and I really appreciate that
But you
very
don't
much.
think I would send you a Don Cornell tape?
Oh,
I mean, I know you love Tony Bennett. That's why I got it for you, my darling.
Thank you very, very
You
much.
understand that?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Actually,
you're scoring points with me.
I was really going to be able to buy you a lot more because in that Mass Million on Tuesday night, I had 4 numbers, which means I won $100, which was very nice, but I was only 1 number away from 3,000. How's that?
Excellent. Now, what has that got to do with Tony Bennett up in New Hampshire?
I had money to buy you a tape, see, but if I had won the whole thing, I would have bought you a dinner with Tony Bennett or anything. I'd fly you anywhere he was so you could see him.
Okay.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
That'd be very nice,
yes, I thought you'd like that.
Yeah.
Well, okay, add me to your boring list. And I hope you have a happy birthday.
R-U-T-H. Okay. Hey, thank you. That was a nice thing to do. I really appreciate it.
And thank you for your card. It was very nice of you.
Thank you for your card. Notice there was no gift with it, just a card.
This is the great...
Sure, rub it in.
There happens to be a producer at the station whose name I won't mention, and it was his birthday a while back. So I got him a cake because I knew it was his birthday. And I saw him last week, and I said, "Where's my cake?" And the poor thing, I think I embarrassed him because there was a very nice box of candy delivered to my house the other day from him. Wasn't that nice?
That's very nice. You don't want to say who he is?
Oh, no, he's just a very nice producer at the station.
Okay.
And I mean, you know, what difference does it make? Just one of the nice folk over there at the station.
Okay.
Well, have a nice whatever. And I'll be listening.
Okay, Bruce.
Bye.
Take care. Okay. Yeah, no, I don't remember what the question was, but the answer was okay.
Hey! I'll tell you the first part of it.
Okay.
While traveling around this country, I meet a lot of folks. In lines of busy tourist spots, we wait and talk and joke. One line of conversation that's always sure to come is that often uttered question, "Where are you folks from?" I'm from West Virginia, the mountain state, claim I. John Denver called it almost heaven in a song that blurs the eye. I watch the face predicting the next words to be used. I know the place and know it well. We have friends in Newport News. Oh no, please listen closely. Let me make this perfectly clear. It's not the old Dominion state that mountaineers hold dear. It's West, by God, Virginia. And though it's much maligned, it's a state of scenic beauty and people who are kind. It's odd that countless people in places near and far can recognize 49 other states, but don't know who we are. They know there are 2 Carolinas, 2 separate Dakotas as well. But West, as in West Virginia, just doesn't ring a bell. And it goes on from there.
Oh, did you write that?
I did.
That's excellent.
One of the verses that I talk about the fact that most of the world only knows us from negative media fare, mostly showing the downside instead of the good that is there. And that's the truth. Anything you see about West Virginia, especially on the network news, is geared to the dumbest people that come out of the woodwork.
It's funny, I had noticed that, and I really have, the only negative feelings I've had about West Virginia ever is the fact that the state has gone through some bad economic times.
We've gone through bad economic times and bad political times, and we still are. But
maybe it's because I get a fair amount of calls from West Virginia. Apparently, we come into certain sections of the state fairly well, and so I get calls from West Virginia, and as a result, my feelings about the state are not negative like that, or not. I don't think of you as a bunch of hillbillies.
Have you ever been here?
Well, see, now you're going to shame me. No, I've been around there, but I never actually have been into West Virginia.
Well,
I've been to Pennsylvania, which is that on one side of you?
Just north,
And then obviously Virginia's there. I've been to Virginia, so I've been to states around West Virginia, but I really ought to go to your state one day.
You really should. I like something that's in your state very much, and I'm not sure where they're playing right now, but the new Black Eagle Jazz Band, do you know them?
Oh, sure, yes, Dixieland Band.
They're one of my favorite listed outfits.
Really? Now, how do you know about them?
Well, I visited up there. I've seen them on the jazz boat several times.
Oh, I see. Oh,
and when they used to be out at Hopkinton at the Sticky Wicket.
Oh, you know all about this area, don't you?
Well, a little bit. I have a cousin who lived in Wayland, and she lived in someplace else up there, and then she lives on Cape Cod now. But I don't know nearly as much about it as I'd like to.
You know a lot more than I know about West Virginia.
Well, it's kind of a great place. It's kind of place that when I go to a city like to New York or something to see some plays, and get into all that city mess that I love while I'm there, I keep thinking, oh, how nice it is to go back home.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't enjoy it while I'm there, because I really do. But I did chicken out about going to New Orleans over New Year's. I just don't think it's the place I want to be.
Yeah, I've been to New Orleans, so I feel as you do. I live in a small town and back in the woods, and with the horse and chickens and all that. And I work in Boston, which is kind of busy, except the WBZ studios are sort of on the outskirts. We're not really right in the heart of the busy section of Boston. So this is almost like a suburb, too. And yet when I come into the heart of Boston, if I'm, I can hardly wait to get home. The city is nice, but to me, country is great. Now, you don't live on a farm or anything.
I live in a town of 3,500 people.
Oh, 3,500?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's pretty small.
Right on the edge of the mountains, where we get a good little bit of rain and clouds, but when the weather's clear, it is just so gorgeous. It's hilly, short mountains when it's compared to anything like the Rockies, but beautiful.
Sounds nice. And it's called Kingston? No. Kingwood, West Virginia.
And I don't know if you know the shape of the state or not. But it has two panhandles. It has a north panhandle, a little skinny one, and then one that goes out to the east, where there's Martinsburg, out on the other side of the mountain.
It looks. When I look at it, it sort of looks roughly like Massachusetts. Maybe not.
Well, there's a little corner. Look at it sometime, and there's a little corner between the two panhandles. And the county where I live is a little corner there, and our county touches Maryland on the east and Pennsylvania on the north. So we're touching two states right where we are.
Okay, you talked me into it. We're going to have a WBZ bus party. We're all going down to West Virginia to Kingswood.
All right. Listen, Kingwood.
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 Yes, we have a fantastic festival here in the fall. It's called the Preston County Buckwheat Festival. And that sounds like a little country thing, but it brings upwards of 25,000 people into this town each day.
Wow.
And if you want to see a little town burst at the seams.
It sounds nice. It sounds nice. And you sound nice too, Marilyn. And I appreciate talking with you. You're okay.
It's been fun. Maybe we'll do it again sometime now that I can hear you.
I would hope so. I would like that very much. Take care of yourself and happy Christmas to you.
You too. Good night.
Good night.
Dealing with an accident right now. Route 9 heading eastbound by Shoppers World in Framingham, and that's going to tie things up a little bit. Do watch out there. Route 3 heading northbound and southbound by routes 495 and 110 in the Lowell area. Ongoing construction, and that's slowing things down a bit. Downtown, not only are we dealing with the people pouring out of the taverns and establishments and heading on to holiday roadways, we're dealing with some work crews inside the Sumner Tunnel. One lane shut down till just about 5:30, 6 o'clock. Be careful there.
Buttery, peanutty brittles, smooth, rich fudges, creamy milk and dark chocolate assortments. Why not send someone who's dear to you some delicious candy or nuts from Mrs. Nelson's? Just call 508-256-4061 to have a box of candy or nuts shipped anywhere in the country. Or stop by Mrs. Nelson's Candy House, the Red House, at 292 Chelmsford Street, Chelmsford, Mass.
Mrs. Nelson's Candy House, 508-256-4061.
Yum.
508-256-4061.
Virginia was a unionist part of Virginia that kept to the Union, and they had I believe it was a 2/3 majority of the state that they got their own Congress together and became part of the Union during the Civil War.
Very good. That certainly makes sense.
And I do have I got that from both Bruce Caton, Shelby Foote, and James McPherson where I've read that from. So just to give you quotes.
Okay, those are pretty good writers. Barry Silverman, I think I know that name. Anyway,
I just got his card here. It says pianist, synthesist, percussionist, composer.
And singer? Does he sing the songs or just play them?
Actually, one of the ladies sang "Play Misty" for me. Well, he played it, she sang it.
Oh, I see. She was one of the guests, so
She was one of the guests, and she sang it, and she was also a keyboardist.
No, that sounds nice. You sound like you have good taste there.
Yeah, well, but I mean, what I'm saying is, if it was voted on for the majority of the people there, I would have been the boring one.
Well, I wouldn't have voted for you as a boring person. I would have voted for you as a stimulating, exciting person.
Okay,
now, we were talking mostly about individuals who many people find boring. We have...
well, I heard Rush Limbaugh.
Well, we have other... Well, it started out when I was talking about Donald Trump and Marla Maples were getting married on Monday.
For the first time ever at Foxborough Stadium.
Okay, so they're not in Boston, they're in Foxborough.
Well, it's like that. I still consider them the Boston Patriots.
Okay.
Okay, but they're in Massachusetts. Okay, that's better.
Yeah.
For the first time ever, and I've just been talking to a lot of friends of mine that are really into music, know nothing about drum corps. So I thought maybe I could call you, and you might know some people on the line that you talk to know a little bit about it. And I know from just listening to you as the times I've listened to you coming home from work is that you have a fairly strong background in jazz.
Well, as a just as a listener.
Right.
But the only thing I know about drum and bugle corps, I used to do a lot of commercials at a place in Revere recording studio called Fleetwood.
Right.
And at Fleetwood, they do a lot of recordings of drum and bugle corps groups, and plus they put out a newspaper just devoted to that subject.
Right, Drum Corps World, I think it is.
Yeah.
And I marched most of my childhood with the drum corps from Revere, the 27th Lancers.
Oh yeah.
And
I used to see them rehearsing as they went across into Fleetwood in the church.
We have rehearsal January 9th. I just had rehearsal this
month. What do you play?
I play baritone, euphonium bugle. I play.
Really?
Right now, which is actually it's fairly easy to play. It's heavy to hold though.
Okay, I guess there's got to be some bad thing about something.
Yeah, if it was easy, everybody would do it.
That's right. There'd be 9,000 of the players.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get when I was growing up, the drum and bugle corps activity in our area flourished. There was a Mayflower circuit, an Eastern Mass circuit, a CYO circuit, so it was a great place for a little kid to go and learn the same things you learn in football. I'm not the sport, but teamwork, how to get along with people, and difference between right and wrong, and so forth. And just in recent years, it started to fade off in this area. And I was hoping I could, start somewhere and get some of the youth activity back up, get some people to start some smaller corps and so forth, and just take more of an interest in the activity. Because it's one of the greatest youth activities I've ever been involved with, because all the drum corps, it's from 21 years of age and under.
Okay, you got the ball rolling. Danny, you did your job.
Okay.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now. Okay. Hey, Golda, how are you? How's it going?
Good evening, Uncle Mommy. I was listening. That man from West Virginia, I have family up to Lead Mine, West Virginia. And for the woman in West Rossview that wants Tony Bennett, if she'll give me a call, I'll mail her a tape that I made.
We do a thing on sound effects. I don't know, does this sound like bacon? Yeah, that's right. You do it gently. Hey, that smells awful good. I'll be right down. Put the coffee on, Madge. It also, if you do it more heatedly, it sounds like fire. Hey, God, the studio is burning up. Who dropped? David Brutnoy dropped a lighted cigarette and the trash can.
In that damn pipe.
That's right. It was an ember from his damn pipe. Okay, here's also it can be rain. Sort of sounds like heavy rain, doesn't it? Maybe mixed with a little sleep. This cellophane isn't. You have to have cellophane from a pack of cigarettes. Yeah, this is from Candy, is it?
I don't know. Oh, I just found it here on the counter.
Oh, I see. So you're not responsible.
I didn't come prepared. No.
I see. Okay. Anyway, do you need
You're talking about my credit.
Hold on just a minute. Do you need Visa, MasterCard, Home, or car loan, even a simple checking account? We can't get them because of unfair credit reporting practice. Okay. National Credit Group can help. Stop being punished by an industry money by controlling the reporting of negative credit information. That ticks me off. Okay, so get started on so you can see I'm on your side. You who had a lousy credit rating and want to smooth it out.
Don't come to me for money.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not going to give you a penny with your background. You think don't come near me. Anyway, get started on your new financial future by obtaining the credit you deserve. Better than that, credit that you don't deserve, but we'll give it to you anyway because we're that kind of people. Yeah. Call National Credit Group in Boston, 617-536-0639. A lot of people have asked me to say that again in Italian. I don't know why that is. Don't read into that any kind of ethnic slur. I'm just joking. 617-536. And he's doing it. I'm such a jerk. Why don't we forget that? Home office or telephone appointments available for your convenience. Correct bad credit so you can apply for credit with confidence. Call National Credit Group at 617-436-0639. That's 617-536-0639. I think the National Credit Group is very lucky that I happen to be on duty and reading their commercial.
Now, you know something? We did this last week with this commercial.
Yes.
I kept walking in, and they actually have it again on this week with you. So maybe they're not. They're not upset.
Either that, or they're asleep, or they're not awake. I don't know whether they're not upset. They're probably not awake. Okay, what do we have? We have Bill calling from Delaware. Hi, Bill.
Hi, Norm. How you doing tonight?
So far, I'm doing really. Let me check here. I have a team
You sound
It
like
gives me a
someone from the
report.
past.
Yeah, they give me a report about every half hour. Now, the last half hour was, they said, slightly better than the half hour before that, but the half hour before that, they said, was a loser. So that didn't mean much. I sound like a voice out of the past? Is that what you said?
Let me feel. That was an old line from Larry, I think.
Let me check. Oh, let me check?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but he whistled that. She said, let me check. See, and I left out because I want to be original.
Oh, okay.
So I left out the whistle, yeah.
I want to give you a report from Delaware that the peepers have finally shut up, you know? We've had warm weather and cold weather, and when it gets warm, they're out there peeping again. And I think they're confused down here.
I think you're a little confused yourself. I don't think natural history is one of your great subjects there.
But, I mean, the peepers were, I did give you the peeper report from down here early a few times, you know?
Well, yeah, last spring, I would think.
Yeah, in the spring before it.
Yeah, yes, you did, and we appreciate that.
Anyway, Danny that called 2 callers ago.
Yes.
He mentioned, he was a member of the 27th Lancers, and my wife and I have worked with the Crossmen in Philadelphia area. We kind of move around a lot.
Okay, that was the drum and bugle corps down there?
Yeah, for the last 12 years. And we played jazz basically for the last 4 years, and the times you were associated with them, probably up at Revere with the 27th, was quite a long time ago. And Fleetwood Records been gone for quite a while.
Oh, there's no Fleetwood Records there anymore?
I think they're gone.
No wonder they haven't called me for a job lately.
I think they've been gone for over 20 years.
Oh, no, not over 20 years.
Well, close to 20.
Oh, I don't think so. No, I was doing commercials for them.
No, I mean for the drum corps records.
Oh, the drum corps records.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Anyway,
I need somebody. Can you imagine if somebody from Delaware has to call me to tell me that? And I'm right here. I didn't know
They did used to be a big marketer of drum corps records, probably up until the early 60s, and then that was it that I've ever seen, But it is a shame in Massachusetts because all the corps from there are really gone. And that's, I grew up there, and I was a member of several corps there when I was a kid, and I think it kind of saved a lot of us from being in a lot of trouble because it did give you, number one, an interest in music, and number two, discipline,
Yeah.
And it is a shame. There's no big corps there. Now, at least this year, they're getting a chance to have the national championships there, but another bad thing is it's not going to be televised,
that's too bad. And I hate to say this, Bill, but I got to go because we got news from the network coming on in about 6 minutes.
All right. I'm looking forward to the dumb birthday game.
Okay, it's coming right up, Bill, and I thank you. WBZ Boston. For Saturday night, this coming night, 11, we have a woman who's tied in with the Brandon House Dictionary. Big, huge, lovely dictionary.
It's a man.
Unabridged. It's unabridged.
And it's a man, not a woman.
Oh, this is a man, Jesse Scheidlower. Or Scheidlower. But it'd be kind of interesting to find out, what new words have come up since the last edition of it.
Can I see this?
Yeah?
I'll have to describe. You can listen to it. Listen to this. All right? That's
a big dictionary.
Now, this entire book, okay, is on this, if you can believe this. I know you marvel at technology.
Well, when you say is on this, see, people don't know what you're saying.
Oh, it's a compact. It's a CD-ROM for your computer.
Okay.
It's amazing to look at that.
Yeah, that's right.
3,000 for however many thousands of pages this dictionary is all on this CD.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And then Sunday night, Monday morning, wild, what is it called? Untamed Tongues. It's about women. Some of the wild sayings, some well-known and some lesser-known women have said. And Autumn Stevens, I guess, she's the author of the book, and she'll be talking with us about that. Some women who have a clever way with words. The following night, Monday night, into Tuesday morning, it'll be Mark Victor Hansen, who has written, what's the title?
Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Chicken Soup for the Soul. What is that?
In a minute.
I'm sorry I asked. I thought you had all the answers.
I just had the, wait a minute. I'm shuffling papers. Wow. I'm just like Norm Nathan. Okay, you ready now?
Yes.
Okay, it's 101 stories to open the heart and rekindle the spirit. It's got the about how people like Henry Ford, Albert Einstein was described as mentally slow and adrift in foolish dreams, and that success never comes easy.
Oh, it's one of those inspirational things.
Exactly.
Well, I just cried just thinking of those wonderful, inspiring stories. I am in there, yeah. How a guy whose fourth language was English, how he boosted himself up and became a weekend, all-night talk host.
Overnight.
Yeah. When they thought nobody was listening.
Oh, yeah, they mentioned about, the Chagra and the Isle of Perim where you came from, the whole story.
Okay. Joey, we talked with Joey Green. Is it on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, who's written a Get Smart book. See if you have any questions you can answer from the Get Smart, which I thought was a very, very funny series. And then the next night we'll be talking with Frankie Lane, and then we'll be talking with Jay O'Callahan, who's a storyteller. And there are a lot of, storytelling seems to be coming back because we're going to be broadcasting another edition with Barbara Bush, former First Lady, along with a lot of her friends telling stories. I listened to the last one we had on Thanksgiving night. I thought it was delightful. I really enjoyed it a whole lot. Kind of lie there and have people read stories to you. It's really, really nice. But speaking of people reading stories, Bob Weiss is on the line. Bob looks like Walter Matthau, by the way. It is that Bob Weiss, is it not?
Yes, sir, from the Air Travel Journal. How are you?
From the Air Travel Journal, that's right. How are you doing, Bob? It's good to talk with you.
Good. I'm packing my bags, cleaning up a few things as we speak here, and boarding a plane for Las Vegas this morning for the draw of the World Cup tomorrow, and I thought that might be of some interest to you.
It's of great interest. Tell me the procedure, because I know that the World Cup will be here in Boston.
Well, it's the world's largest sporting event, and the draw will take place at, I think it's 5 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, and Boston's going to find out what countries are going to be coming here to play at Foxborough next June and July.
Okay, when you say 5 o'clock tomorrow, are you talking Saturday or Sunday?
I'm talking Sunday, actually.
Good, okay.
I think we're in tomorrow. Are we in Saturday yet? Or
No, we
Friday?
are. No, we are. The reason I asked is
I understand.
A lot of people who stay up all night still call this Friday.
Well,
but
I just got up, and I think it's Saturday morning.
No, it is Saturday, okay. So they have a drawing Sunday night about 5 o'clock in Las Vegas to determine who plays whom, you mean, and all that?
Right. We'll know the countries that are playing, and there's a delegation of about 30 hotel people, convention people, and other things from the city and state that have gone up there and out there because as soon as it's known officially which countries will be coming here, there will be a real burst of activity in terms of tour operators and other types of travel people making arrangements to come in to Boston next spring. So it looks to me, but we'll find out when we get out there, that it's going to be full speed ahead in terms of promotion. There's going to be a big trade show out there for the 2 days, tomorrow and Monday.
Oh, that sounds great. And this is June and July when the World Cup actually takes place here in Boston.
That's correct. An interesting call you had just as I woke up on this World Championship, or I guess the name's World Championship Drum and Bugle Corps will be following that into Foxborough Stadium. That's another huge event for the city, and I think, based on the hotel occupancies that we've had this year, which we've been reporting on in the papers, which have been very strong here in Boston, I think everybody thinks that '94 is going to be a pretty big year for the city.
Well, that's great. How long does the World Cup last? Do you know how many days?
Well, the whole World Cup, around 9 venues in the United States, which includes New York City and Orlando and Boston on the East Coast, will last a month, and it will wind up with the World Championship being played in Palo Alto. I think it's about July 13th or 14th, but I don't have the date right in front of me.
Oh, that should really be so exciting to have that here. There have been a lot of stories in the paper. One seemed to indicate that maybe people getting a little cool on that. I can't imagine that would be the case as we approach June and July when the teams start coming in and they actually play. I would think there'd be a lot of good reaction by that point.
Well, I think the situation is this, and that's really the reason I'm going out there to cover this for the airport paper in Travel New England. really nobody knows until the teams are decided tomorrow who's going to be here, which means that you can't make your total plans. The early betting, if you'll excuse the expression, as far as Las Vegas is concerned, is that Ireland's going to be playing here as one of the top teams. And, of course, that will lead to a lot of interest on the part of not only the community here, but also the Irish coming over to follow the team. And what you have with World Cup teams is whether they can get tickets to the event or not, there are a tremendous number of people of all types of businesses and other teams, and other groups that follow these teams, whether they go to the games or not. So I don't think there's any question. I also think there's a pretty good chance that Argentina may be coming here to play, and that means that a lot of South Americans will be coming up here because, of course, to the Europeans and the South Americans, the United States and Boston looks like one of the cheapest places you could possibly come.
And I know the tremendous interest there is in soccer just about every place. But here, although I think the interest has been building up over the past few years, there are a lot of high schools, as you know, have soccer teams, and I think it's a great game. It's like ballet, I guess, in many ways. It's just a very graceful game, and takes a lot of what's the word I'm trying to think of?
Well, a lot of skill, and you also have the fact that both men and women can play at all ages, and size really makes no difference. And the game goes on. I mean, you don't have any timeouts. You have very few substitutions.
Stamina was the word I was.
But it's a real team effort, and of course, I think one of the reasons that the World Cup governing board decided to, have the World Cup here is to increase the awareness of soccer. I think they'd like to see eventually professional soccer come back to the United States. Whether that happens or not, we'll see. But I think that the media interest in the U.S. and venues like Boston, which are going to host this event next spring, is going to be amazing. And shifting gears for just a second, as it so happens, of course, this had nothing to do with my decision to go out there. You realize that.
Yeah.
The MGM Grand Hotel is opening over this weekend, and that 5,000-room facility I'm going to take a look at while I'm out there. And that's as many hotel rooms as we virtually have in that one hotel as we have in downtown Boston.
Oh, my.
How about all that cutting-edge technology that was discussed? Whew, those were heady times. This was another example of overnight radio that simply was for everyone. No serious talk, just talk. We need this back more than ever. Don't you agree? If not, then get out of here. Before we go, on the count of 3, let's wish Norm a happy birthday. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, Norm! Wow, that was loud, everybody. Nice job. Closing the vault and leaving this world a little sillier than we found it. 4, various state lotteries. Zowie. Dick DeBartolo. Mad Magazine. Gadgets and Gizmos. Dull Satire. Al Felstein. Bylines. Light Sign, the world's smallest moving billboard. Personal digital assistants. Royal Electronics. Atari. Price Shopping. VCR Plus. Gemstar. Casio. Buying decent batteries. The Neck Light. The 5 and 10. Warranty cards. Simple 325 diamond tiaras. Marazine. Triple action gold bond medicated powder. Reminiscing about the dentist's office. Highlights Magazine. The Boring Institute. Wiccans and Psychic Predictions. Tom Menino. Falling in love and having an affair with a turtle. Spanish soap operas, also known as telenovelas. Greg the Squirrel Guy in Burlington. The 1994 Geo Prism LSI sedan. Community auditions. Don Cornell. Frolics and the Bowery. Ruth's Stories. Tony Bennett Cassettes. The new Black Eagle Jazz Band. Drum and Bugle Corps. Fleetwood Recording in Revere, Massachusetts. Sound effects, confused peepers, Random House, the Air Travel Journal, the World Cup, Baby Gold Bond medicated powder, Mrs. Nelson's Candy House, the National Credit Group, Ed Donahue, Adam Wolf, Darrell Gould, Jack Harte, and the man who's not the least bit boring. Norm Nathan, I'm Tony Nesbitt.
Anybody ask Ruth any of this? No, I don't even care anymore. I don't even care what the answer.